Fogged, and this should be a very exciting series, Fogged. As we heard from the panel, they do prefer what Viking G, but on every reason to sort of get behind the squad. We've seen a lot of great stuff from this team as of late. And OG, on the other hand, what do you sort of make of their draft? What do you think we can expect from this?
Wild and crazy plays from Topson for sure, as I think he was just like the inventor of this. I think it was like more, actually, it was like 7 months ago, 8 months ago, maybe a year ago even, that he was doing that mid in SEA when he was stuck over there. And he was playing it a lot, this Riki. So I'm curious to see. The other thing is too, it's a mid Riki, but it's into a Slardar.
It is. And
there is a corrosive haze.
Yeah.
Can be pretty annoying in the game.
You could say it's kind of good against the Riki. I mean, it is. We'll see what Topson's plan is going to be. Obviously, more than prepared to play into it with that pick coming out. But you sort of look at his team that no one's really removed the corrosive haze. It is going to be down to him eventually getting either a Manta or a BKB. Or, of course, just don't get seen in the first place. Don't let him cast it on you. Just don't get corrosive haze, lol. Yeah, exactly. Silence him. Just silence him. This counters. We'll see how Topson plays against. But yeah, overall, I mean, do you sort of agree with the panel? Do you prefer Viking GG's lineup, or do you see something that they didn't in OG's?
There's no BKB, but there's no canceller for Black Hole. I always look at that, and every single time when I do see the Enigma pick, there's no way to cancel a BKB Black Hole, unless, of course, the Abyssal Blade on the later stages and stuff like that. But it looks like a pretty solid Enigma game again, where I feel like last time I said this, and it was on OG, they completely smashed the game. He's very comfortable in those type of games where he knows he's just gonna be able to have a free time. If they get to a mid game, he gets that, and it's just over.
Right, OG. They're gonna get first blood on Toby. They're chasing him down. Strike on him for the win. The trees.
The battle begins.
Start that top lane does mean he has the crush level 1 as well. We'll see if that really affects his laning.
It's a double orb of venom, by the way. Soxa and No-Tail, they're both and that's another kill.
It's working. They just got themselves a second kill as they run down Aramis. I mean, I guess it makes sense because they are going to be playing on opposite sides of the map. No-Tail's going to be sticking top, supporting mid one, and of course, down on the bottom lane, you can have Saxa playing aggressive, ready to use that tag team and that chase potential with Seb. Obviously, when there's Malefist, the tag team. These two heroes, you've got to be careful laning against these two because they will run you down.
Yeah, even at level 2, it's just constant kill threats every time the tag team is up. So we will see that always be used for that Erasmus. You see he takes over one of the Eidolons as the Chen, trades it back. Actually, the last hit of one of them there. And yeah, we're looking at like OG's draft. I feel like they kind of counterpicked. Like I think this QL mentioning, they knew that this Slardar was going to come. They opened up with this trait, who's a really good counter to it. Living Armor is unbelievably good versus Slardar at all stages.
I mean, that is a very good point. You might not necessarily have a way of moving it, but having a clear sort of response to any time Toby tries to make a move on the Riki.
Yeah. He's constantly going to be able to control this lane top as this tree with mid one. That's threatening onto Aramis because it's still level 1.
It's just so much damage that OG's trading towards them.
It's almost dead even.
Has got a lot of regen for the lane. He's still got 4 tangos to work through. Aramis himself is out of it. He's just going to get himself another set of tangos out. Courier.
But no salve. That means they can't actually apply any pressure really onto mid one, which they can't even really anyway because it's an Arc Warden versus that Slardar. That's the other thing that they did, right? They see the Slardar pick, they pick a ranged carry in the safe lane. So you can't actually use your, your bash to the deep, which is the whole strength of this hero. So OG just setting themselves up for super good lanes.
Yeah, because no real way you can sort of change the lanes to make it better up for Slardar. Bottom's not really much of a better place, so you're still going to have to deal with an Enigma farming against you.
Yeah, they can't do any type of lane swaps at all here. Soxa, he's looking for this wrap around here. He's got the level 2 as well.
Him and the shard, Sep, stepping across. They've got enough damage to find him though. There's Malefist hits. And that slow from the Orb of Venom. Should be able to run this down. One more hit. Just trying to find it. Celery he is. Regenning up from that. From that address. It isn't enough though. But to run him down, get themselves another kill. Team to show that they do have these side lanes that's starting off very strongly.
Yeah, it's the same build again from Seb this time around. Just going for this early null. Just to build now because you just get it's just such a good build up. You just get all this mana regen, high int for you to apply pressure in lane. Chad's still farming just fine. Celery is the one who's just, it's going to be this case. Chad is always going to be able to keep that spec on farm.
Yeah, and that's for sure, you know, sort of across all the lanes. Even up top, you know, Toby's still getting the CS. Pogba sits at the moment on the offlane slider. Not too far at all behind that of mid lane. Topson and Boom both getting very low. They're popping the fairy fires. They try and go for one another. That tornado is going to do it. It is Boom able to get the solo kill onto Topson. Will get himself killed off there. Fresh back to base, gets Nano and health back up, but obviously getting the XP on that kill. Very nice done there by Boom.
And Topson also used the salve as he was getting tornadoed, so lost some gold there for himself too.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Another bit of an attempt. Fight between the two of them again. It is OG winning out. It's 2v2 as Toby and Aramis have to back up.
Okay, so Notel has gone for the full laning build is what I call it. He actually puts 2 points in Leech Seed. So it's just to literally just secure the lane. If you go for the other type of builds, it's you're playing around either killing or helping the other lane. This one's just trying to sustain and stop. There's a lot of heals that comes out, remember.
There's action going on everywhere. Bottom lane, they're able to take down Celery. Saxa, will he go down in response? He's got the snowball over to the creeps. He's running away from Shad. Shad's trying to chase. He needs one hit. He's got it. He's able to get in and get the kill. Meanwhile, what was going on the top lane, Jans?
Top lane was just Tree getting manned up on, getting turned fast, and then arrowed afterwards. Almost healed up through it, but the bash is still just a little bit too much damage.
Action in the middle. That solo kill from Boom. But heating up to be quite an explosive game.
Shad's just got the straight Midas queued up. He's got this Hedris Chen sitting behind him. He's feeling like he can get away with the greed.
Okay, I mean it's not going to be too slow at all. His CS is absolutely fine. Top CS at the moment, 24 last hits, 5 minutes in. Some of these bounty runes, he's going to be in a good position to grab that. But Saxa, able to time the snowball. Ensure that the Viking GG
Radiant's courier
grab that.
has been killed.
As it will be, Aramis only able to get the one for Viking GG. So the 3 bounty runes.
Topson getting a little bit of RNG in his favor there for the tricks of the trade. Getting that last hit. He's beating the Invoker by a little bit there in that mid. He's almost up to level 6. Boom also, without even an experience.
Has been killed.
Courier snipe here. Tells able to get in and take down Toby's courier. We see from mid one this is going to be, of course, very fast. Midas, 5 minutes and a half in. Midas rest is on its way out. Going to have this Midas rolling very, very early this game.
He's going to be able to Midas the catapult, actually. That's pretty nice.
That's always the dream. That's always the dream. Russian Midas.
Yeah.
If you get it in time for the catapult, then you're a very happy Midas there. And Sep, bottom lane, it's getting to be a bit of a scary place down here for Celery. Anytime that the 7 Sacks are on top of him, this Chen will die. Especially with Sep hitting good levels, level 5. Split between it and Midnight Pulse as well. It's just, with the shards of the Malefice, you're just going to fall over any time that they go on you.
Yeah, but Shad's still farming, right? That's the one thing. I'm not like, I don't mind these deaths too much. Sure, maybe the 3 of them is a little bit too many, but a couple deaths is okay because Shad's getting this free farm down here.
Now they're going to try and go on to Shad. 5 now. Dagger out. 2 points in dispersed, of course, at this stage. Does mean that Shad himself a much harder target for these tackle on their own when he's full HP.
Yeah. So yeah, Celery's also doing the same thing that we see Puppy do when he's playing this Chen, is he goes for his mech. He's not full out farming just yet like Puppy does, but yeah, he's just going for a naked mech, no boots, no nothing else. Get that a nice early time for his team to be able to match, because I do believe that they have to know this, that OG, they're going to start picking up the pace a lot in this game. Sure, they have an Arc Warden, but they have a Riki mid, so you know that Topson's going to look to get very active around the map. They're going to look for an early mech timing on 7 to really press the issue.
They're diving in here past the tower. No tower.
Radiant's
Toby and Aramis got enough damage on the 2 of them. They're going to look towards the Mirana, but Leap's still available for Aramis, so he's fine. Toby's actually trying to run back into the setup. He goes back in to get the crush setup for Boom to be here. TP's in, gets the kill on mid-bottom. Fantastic moves there from Toby. Very low HP, but turning around knowing that his Invoker would be inbound, and they're able to punish mid-one for that dive.
Uh-oh, Celery again, bottom.
He's trying his best to help out, but not a lot he can do as a Spectre to keep his Chen safe. So indeed, it is just a tough lane. You know, this Chen Celery is going to continue to die anytime he comes down here. But definitely, as you said, it may be something that they're not too fussed about, because Shad 7 minutes, well, 8 minutes in, Midas is on its way out. So you have still managed to get a pretty good timing for this Midas on the Spectre, considering the lane that he was having to lane into.
Yeah. Yeah, he tanked everything. He tanked all the tag teams, right? Like, Celery's like, whatever, I'll tank them for you so you can get that early Midas timing.
Radiant's
which,
bottom
it all works out.
tower
Like,
is under
4 like we said,
attack.
though, it's still quite a bit because you're giving a lot to the enemy side. You see how this Tusk, level 4.5. Seb also level 6. Oh, yeah, actually, almost level 7 on the Enigma, too. So it does give quite a bit of experience when you do die like that. But starts that up as they can pressure this tower pretty easy.
Radiant's
And this is
bottom
something I did
tower
look
is
at on
under
OG's
attack.
draft, too, is
Radiant's
I'm
bottom tower
a little
has
worried about
fallen.
Viking trying to take
Radiant
towers.
are
They're into
scanning.
Arc Warden and Treant Protector. So if you don't get early
Radiant's
tier
middle
1s,
tower
early
is
towers,
under attack.
they're going to start getting armored and bubbled nonstop.
We go Toby. Looking for the setup onto No-Tail. They're deep in the trees. Boom.
Dire's
The MP
top
combo
tower is
down
under
will
attack.
claim the life of No-Tail.
Radiant's
Viking
turret
themselves able
has
to
been killed.
slowly put some pressure in. Boom will
Dire's
lose his courier.
structures are
Topson.
fortified.
He almost got both.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Bonus with he heads around, but yeah, you're seeing it already. Even with that kill up top and the
Is
3
under
of them
attack.
starting off there, the tower is not going to fall anytime soon. Bottom lane Seb. God, but to get in there with the help of Celery. Boom, making some movements all over the map, making sure that he is getting very involved early on as this Invoker, more so than Topson's been able to. Topson still sitting around this mid, but Boom, he's all over the place. Bottom lane, have a bit of a setup. Saxa will be able to trust the EMP with the snowball, but they're going to look to try and chase with the cold snap. Mid one will
Radiant's
provide the
middle
protective
tower is
bubble.
under
Nice
attack.
bubble.
Saxa can get out of there and will manage to survive.
Ooh, I love that. The bubbles actually both, like 2 times almost, just blocking out some cold snap mini stuns. Looks like Topson's just doing, this is what he does in pubs too, is he's mostly just focused on himself. Get the defusal. Because sure, you can make moves early as a Riki, but once you get defusal, it's a whole new hero. You're gonna you're gonna get solo kills everywhere, and you're gonna have it at a good time if you farm like this. Aramis.
Try and run, but the snowball chase will be there. And all of his leaps gone. Shards out to block him off nicely there. Saxa with the control. Topson to get the kill. They're going to move straight over towards mid. Boom's just TP'd in. Couldn't do anything about this. It's a little tricky, but he's already used Tornado, so he won't have Tornado for his defensive capabilities.
They have a sentry down too.
Dust Storm will connect. Snowball straight away onto the Invoker. Boom. Going to be healed up by the hand of God, but he's got nothing else to save himself. Tries to turn with the cold snap, but he'll go down. Toby leads him with the corrosive haze onto Saxa. Fight it up for now.
Dire's top tower
Managed
is
to
under
stay under the
attack.
safety of his tower. Unless they can grab him with the shards, they can. Saxa again. Beautiful shard. Traps Toby. They're in on top of him. Shard will come in with a horde to try and find some kills, but Saxa, he takes them out of the harm's way with the snowball. We are seeing some lovely stuff. Yeah, absolutely there. Seb dropping Saxa the tip. He is making some, I mean, already in that bottom lane. You see his KDA 3-1 and 6. Saxa certainly the one to pop off so far in this game.
Sax is just straight carrying the game right now. This whole early game 3K lead is because of what he's been providing for his team, and they're going to look to keep aggressive. And I was mentioning how I'm worried because if they don't start getting some towers, it's going to get to a point where the map's going to start closing really fast. You have Tree Arc Warden on one side. Viking, they can't be making these mistakes. And their lineup, it's greedy and it's getting punished. And they went for the Midas on the Spectre too. And I'm looking at this Invoker, and I feel like his game is just going to get so... It's already really hard, but it's going to get harder and harder. He's always just jumped on by Riki. Riki's going to have defusal at any time now soon. The Viking, they have to be more grouped up here with their 4 heroes. The Spectre's going to just be going for Midas and farming. They have to be aware to look to fight, but their fight's just not that strong.
Well, I mean, they don't really have team fights sort of
Radiant's
outside of the
bottom
Horn
tower is
and
under
the
attack.
Invoker combo. And as we've seen, that's been very hard to hit. I mean, they do have ways of protecting one another. You know, smoke screens down,
Dire's
living
top
armors
tower
out, a bubble's
is
there from mid one, and suddenly
Radiant's
Saxa's
middle
taking them all
tower
out
is
and
under
snowball.
attack.
A lot of ways for OG to sort of dance around the team fights. Make it very hard for Viking to ever lock down on anyone fully. We're going to see a bit of an attempt onto Boom, but it is under the tier 2. Topson and Saxa will back off.
Radiant's
This
middle
space
tower
of Seb
is under
putting
attack.
pressure onto this tier 1 tower mid. Going to be quite difficult for Viking to do anything to stop this. Boom stepping forward, but Topson with these movements, getting all the information that OG need.
Radiant's
To me, the
middle
Vikings,
tower is under
as you
attack.
say, they've got to play very, very
Radiant
careful.
are
OG
scanning.
always ready to pounce on anyone that's caught out of position.
And they're fragile is the thing, too, especially with the tag team. Invoker, Chen, like Miranda, these heroes just die in a matter of seconds.
Topson's going to try for Boom. It's pretty deep. Does manage to get the tornado in time, but already the shards are down. Saxa comes in with a punch, but Viking Cheeky, they'll be able to punish this. They turn onto Saxa. Now Toby trying to charge in onto Seb. Seb backing away, cutting them out. Does have a black hole if he wants to try and turn, but there's the full 5 of Viking looking for more. They're over onto No-Tail. This time, OG pushing their luck a little too far there. Saxa diving in underneath the tier 2 tower was always going to be a little bit of a risky move, trying to burst Boom whilst he was caught in the smoke screen. Didn't happen. He was still able to get out to the side, and yeah, I mean, classic OG. You know, sometimes they just don't know when to stop.
Very nicely done by Viking, though. This is what we're talking about, how I feel like they have to bring the numbers. They can't be fighting even numbers in most of these situations, even if it's on their side. They have to bring the numbers. Topson, he's spotted Celery. He knew he was here.
But there's the sentry down on the low ground, giving him the information. Topson's in trouble. He's able to put the stick charge. Does have the safety of Saxa. Saxa's around to help him. Also popping the tag team to try and ward Viking away.
Look how tanky that Riki is with the armor. Up to 24 armor when he does have that on him. And yeah, he's still looking to continue the pressure. His team is all around here, though. They know that it's all about Chad, right?
Yeah, he's the one that... Oh, Topson, he'll take that.
Now he might be Shasta here.
Not able to trap him in the cloud, though. So Dagger's still there. He's got the free pathing, and maybe with the micro, they can stand this. Living armor will keep Saxa safe. Ready, the Eidolon's coming in for the Cypher Seb, giving the information.
Just the blink. Blink on Spardark. Toby is coming in.
He's chasing. What they could do here, looking for Saxa. Saxa's out with the snowball, dodges the EMP, but the cold snap's down. Toby closes the gap. Saxa, in fact, Toby's got bigger things in his sights. He jumps over towards Seth, the Horn's out as well. He's looking for this Enigma. They've found Saxa. Shad Horn's in on the front line, chasing down OG. Ready to try to turn around the overthrow. Looks down the two of them. Boom and Shad in trouble as now the fire from Mid-One. It's too much. Takes out the Spectre, turns over towards Aramis. Aramis having to leap away. They're very, very low here. Viking losing another as Boom will fall. Topson 7, No-Tail continuing to chase. A jump across over towards Aramis. Aramis trying to hide. Seb's got the control on Celery with that Malefice. Aramis will be able to leap down into the river and TP away. A crush from Toby in an attempt to keep Seb off. Celery is there, but it's not enough. There's a Spark Wraith down on the map as Mid-One cleans up Celery. And sort of in a bit of a repeat scenarios. We saw OG just perform underneath tier 2 of Viking. This time it was Viking just chasing too far, and underneath that tier 1, Mid-One, he's always going to respond to any sort of action that close to the tower.
Yeah, Toby, he went for the big, he went for chasing for the next target, going for the Enigma. They don't get the arrow connection on the follow-up, but either way, even if they did, I think No-Tail was in way too good of a positioning there. He just gets the overgrowth, armors the Enigma, and then it's a Greaves Enigma with living armor on him too. So even chasing that is not easy to kill. So OG, they get it kind of handed to them there for Viking over chasing it.
Chad,
see it again.
He's pushing out alone here. But No-Tail and Saxa, we'll see if these two have enough damage. Shad trying to hold his ground. There's not really much else he can do. He's going to throw out the dagger, try and escape. Shards are out, but of course still with the free pathing, Shad's able to make it away. Only just will live.
He almost died
to the safe side of the map by Celery.
Almost died to the two supports. That is not a good sign.
Radiant's
and Topson has, okay, so in the first 16 minutes, they were able to do a decent amount of Riki. He has the Bugle now.
Ooh, good control here, though, for Boom and Aramis. It's not enough, though. Topson's able to get out to the side. Quick jump to him. He's able to get him with the front, but it's not enough. Topson will live. Seth comes in with the TP, pops the Greaves. Topson's ready to turn and fight back. Jumps in onto Toby. Toby goes down. Shards out, won't clip on the Celery. We're seeing now that they just couldn't kill Topson. As you said, this living armor just making all the difference. They don't have enough physical damage to bring down a relatively low HP hero like the Riki, just due to the high armor countering that corrosive haze.
He's at 30 armor he has it on him right now. 30. And now Diffusal's finished, so the aggression, it's going to build up even faster. Like, they're going to just straight commit into every single fight now on OG.
There we go, Snowball. Straight over towards Boom. Malefice control onto Aramis. Boom goes down. Aramis in trouble as well. So thinking about the black hole, but will he drop it? Aramis, he's out with a lead. He'll live. But we'll continue to see exactly what you said from Viking. Boom's game as the Invoker, it's going to just fall further and further behind with the lack of action that Viking GG are able to get out on top of. It's only this Spectre that's able to hold them in the game. And now Toby wants more. He's been caught here, jumping forward, but then it's on the front. Back it away, Shards out. A little TP here from OG. they can do. Dust is out onto Toby. Mid one, killing him off with the Tempest double. Is there enough damage? He needs to.
Is he gonna get him?
He's not going to quite have the damage. Hand of God comes out, keep him alive. Toby will be able to back away, and OG also retreating. Ready to wait until their next time. They're getting pretty close. Seb, very, very close to having the blink down. A few hundred gold away from it.
Still hunting. He's Aramis accelerating.
Make the jump straight away onto the Chen. Boom, able to push him back with the Devil's Blast. Does disarm it now. Calls that out as well. Causing a little bit of an issue for Topson. Toby is in with the two-man crush. They have any further control. Topson's been dusted, but there's the backup from OG. They're moving and chasing down Toby too as they'll both fall. OG just able to make the easier movements and just with the items and their line, it just feels like Viking don't have the right hero to respond with. It's very hard for them playing from behind.
It's really good. It's way too greedy. Like this Midas too on the Spectre, he doesn't really do a whole lot to commit into it. And during the entirety of it, its mid one is completely unpressured in this game. Just brown boots, Mjolnir, Midas. Sometimes you see the bots finished up maybe in between or something. Nope, just brown boots, Mjolnir. He's doing just fine with this. He's farming like a beast.
Towards mid Topson. Boom in his sights again.
It's all hard for him to play. Like level 10 Invoker compared to level 13 Riki.
Oh, they got to be careful now as well. Seb's got his blink coming out. Also picked up an Invis rune. Could be a setup for a big black hole. Already, Aramis goes down. Jump over the wall. Chad is the man that they've got to protect. They've got to keep the Spectre safe. But Seb, he drops down the black hole. He's got to put a stop to it. Toby's trying to get in. And Chad, he will be safe. Toby looking over towards Seb. The bash controls there. Over to the side. They're still trying to finish off Chad. He's got enough damage. And Aramis, he's got the timing. The arrow connects into the clumsy net. Topson is locked down. Viking, they'll be able to save Shad. And an excellent buyback there from Aramis. Did mean he was around to offer that arrow up and guarantee the big kill onto Topson. They'll take down 3. They're immediately going to move over to OG's half of the map, see if they can find mid one.
Might just be able to find no cell instead here.
There you go, catching him in the lane. Viking, a solid punch back there despite being 7k down.
Yeah, I actually think that Seb held his black hole for a second, right? And then the Spectre got on the high ground, so when he black holed, Ricky's not able to hit him, and his backup got there in time. Now Vikings, they're back on the aggression here, and they have Haunt up available too. And it's like, Chad's gonna go heal.
Quickly, as soon as Seb's back in the game, over towards this top tower, they're diving it. He is tanky, but is he tanky enough? Tornado comes out, two of them. Chad's got the horn. Viking, they'll find Seb now over towards mid one. They go, the arrow connects again. Aramis with these connections. I mean, they're doing it. They're down 7k now, only down 5k. But they're making a solid recovery here, getting Shad involved in the action too. You know, with the Manta done, he is now relatively safe. You know, he can get away if OG make a jump on him. They're going to look for the Roshan with Corrosive Haze. They should be able to do this pretty reliably. OG, they've only got 3 up. They can't contest this at all. This is going to be a free Aegis for Viking.
Roshan has fallen.
Wow, the speed that they just played there completely caught OG off guard. They were not ready for them to just keep making those aggressive moves. Very nicely done.
Excellent plays here from Viking. I mean, just the way that, the way that you can feel that they're not scared at all. They find some sort of action there, immediately just start playing on OG's half of the map in their jungle. And as we saw that, just something that OG, they weren't ready for. You get the jump on Ote, you kill him off, and then Seb and mid one, they're coming back into the game, going up that tier 2 tower. Viking's still there, and they get those 2 huge kills.
And it was like, I was just mentioning how farmed mid one is, so yeah, absolutely huge kills. They get a big bounty for bringing him down. 432 for killing mid one. Not able to get a tower, unfortunately, for them, but a nice series of movements for them. And yeah, Chad, like with an Aegis now with Manta, he's feeling so much better in this game.
It's going to be a little more cautious. I mean, as this game goes later, you sort of see the Spectre versus Arc Warden. Does that match favor the Spectre due to the ease of getting on top of the Arc, or is there things you've got to sort of take into account?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely does favor just if it's in a vacuum, but then I have to, like I was mentioning earlier, the no cancel for BKB Black Hole is always the biggest scare for me when you're going toward like late game, because it's going to get to a point, he will have a BKB, and then maybe if it continues, like refreshers and stuff like that, it gets too hard for you to play against this. There's no way of actually counterplaying it.
Sure, because what it's just all stages of the game, there's going to be that opportunity for Seb to just commit Black Hole, whichever hero is the issue. Probably
Exactly.
the Spectre. Everything's thrown down on him. Good luck trying to keep him alive.
Yeah, just BKB Black Hole him with the Midnight Pulse on top of it. Sure, Chen heals can come out. That can maybe be the saving grace.
Something. Topson here, they found the two of them, the clumsy net, they found Topson, but Topson's able to jump out to the side. Sapsa running forward, turning over towards Outbest, the ball comes out. Outbest still alive, finally falls. Jan, he's in the middle of it all, he's focusing now. Mid-one's going to be safe on the stumble, and there's Seb with the Black Hole. Control Shad and Toby as Shad will fall the once. He's got the Aegis ready for round 2, but Toby goes down. There's not going to be much left alive to help Shad here. Is Shad, he's surrounded, and this time the Black Hole does the job. Seb able to catch the big heroes, and they just couldn't quite get Topson. I mean, it looked like there might have been an opportunity to start this fight with a bang, getting Topson caught in that dust into clumsy net, but just wasn't enough lockdown to get the kill in time.
Look at that fight recap. I think that says the whole story of the game, really, for me. It really just feels like it's going to be Chad versus 3 heroes progressively scale. And sure, he scales, but his other 2 cores are just falling off super hard. He did 9,000 of the damage in that fight. A lot of it was dispersion, just because he was getting hit so much, but yeah, that's definitely a concern. If it's just him doing the damage in the fights like that. Sure, he's a Spectre. Sure, it's this king of late game. But 3 heroes are scaling very nicely on the side of OG.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
And you see Mid-One's build. He knows the next item he needs to go is the BKB, so they can distance himself or just, you know, hold his ground around his team versus that Spectre who commits on him as they find the Invoker.
Straight up towards top. Shad's got to be careful. And they're going to hunt for him in the trees. No turn. Forces forward. Shad has been spotted, but TP back coming in. In fact, they've got a lot of it. Maybe OG again have pushed a little too far. Seb is heading over, but no Black Hole for 90 seconds. This is going to be a buyback from Boom. Viking looking to punish OG as they go in a little too deep. Topson trying to finish off Celery, but there isn't enough damage. Topson has to jump out to the side. OG's got to get out there. The Tornado won't quite clip Mid-One. Toby will. Jumps in with a crush. They're on top of the arc border. Mid-One's trying to run, but he cannot get away from the fashions. Mid-One goes down. Back here as they'll continue to chase, look towards Seb. Seb holds Toby with the Manifest. And Viking, you know,
Radiant's top tower
proving that they really do still pack a punch at this stage of the game if OG make a misplay.
They caught Mid-One playing way too far up, but now Toby looks like he's also a little bit too far forward.
They're going to try and bring down Topson, but that snowball control, and now Shad manifests that he's got to get out of it. So left the Mansion haunt up in 10 seconds.
Death's bounty.
Still this 6k lead for OG right now. Do hold the advantage. You said it's just the fact it's this 3 versus 1 in the core department.
Yeah. And they're continuing to scale. Much better. And the thing is too, is like I look at, it's not just about the 3 cores too, it's like I look at the supports as well. And I look at what Tusk and what Tree can provide in this game, what a Chen and a Miranda. The Miranda feels like it's gonna start really falling off. Sure, she still has like her Moonlight Shadow, which is great, but you're not gonna ever commit the same stuff as in a team fight as a Tree and a Tusk at this point, you know, the way that these two have been having their game set up. It does feel very hard for Viking. They need to have just this chaos starting. That's what seems to be catching OG off guard, is when Vikings in to just make them like split up and catch them off guard. I think they have to just be a little bit crazier. Because if the game continues like this, I just see OG taking it in the later stages, because they just get progressively so much more farm on the map.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack. Radiant's structures are fortified.
Shad, very close to having his Skadi complete.
That'll be huge. I mean, easy for him to commit onto Mid-One, even if he has BKB. Maybe it will work. Maybe just going all in on Shad will work for them.
I mean, in these fights for Shad, when he's coming in with a horn, how does sort of the priority lie? Who's he going on each time to get rid of?
For the most part, it has to be Mid-One. It's just going to prevent him from
the Arc Warden.
Yeah, because then otherwise he has too much freedom in the fights to just beat on everybody else. That's just simultaneous jumps from them. It's just, there's so many scary things. It's just this threat of the Black Hole is always going to be there still too.
Radiant's bottom tower.
Keeping the gold steady here, around 70,000. I mean, now all ults are available for both sides.
Mid one. Gonna go for that Silver Edge next. You know, have that break against the Spectre. Also gonna make the life of Shadow pretty rough. Taking away the dispersion just does allow you to do so much more damage in the late stages against the Spectre.
Dire's structures are fortified.
He's making good progress on it as well. Still staying at the top as his Arc Warden. Very solid farm for mid one this game.
Radiant's bottom tower is under
Oh,
attack.
it didn't show him as a new. Oh, okay, he was switching it. I was like, wait, he had a neutral item, but it disappeared. He was switching a Quiver instead of the Grove Bow for a sec.
That's from the base, OG. That doubling down bottom, and it is backed up by everybody. I mean, mid one's always
Radiant's
just a
bottom
boost to
tower
travel
is
away
under
from
attack.
joining. OG outside of the base, maybe looking to jump whoever comes forward, but Viking's playing it very careful. Mid one again, he's
Radiant's
continuing to
bottom
slow
tower
siege here,
is under
bringing the
attack.
Tempest doubles over. See what Viking can do to get rid of this. Trying to bait OG with this double. See what sort of commitment they can get, but it won't be too much.
They force everybody back. All the Vikings now back in the base, so they know they can back up, farm the map out.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Yeah, it does. I mean, this sort of move does mean that mid one is as safe as he'll ever be. Unless there's some sort of way that, I mean, is there some sort of move that Viking can do with when you consider their heroes where only a couple of them are guarding and the others are trying to find some sort of setup onto mid one?
It's just so hard because they can't get their waves down now. Like, their heroes don't wave clear that naturally. It's like, just look at them. Like, the Mirana show your Starstorm and stuff like that does, but it's tough for them to just force the waves out and look for these kills. So the whole map is on their side right now. OG's just always dictating the pace. I feel like it's just too hard for them to do it. It'll be obvious.
OG smoking up. I know that Vikings started to leave the base. Who's going to get jumped first here? Respect movement deep inside their own jungle. Only Aramis that's made it this far over the map right now. It's a Viking remaining in their triangle and pushing out top. Boom, trying to get the goal towards his BKB next after the Yours Orchid. Roshan to respawn.
Topson Aramis.
And straight in with the jump. Malphus there. Aramis is able to force it to the side, get out of the cloud. That would have been fine. Instant re-smoke there from Viking GG, so trying to come back in and catch OG off guard.
Okay.
But commit with the Moonlight Shadow. Let's see what sort of set they can get. But that great ward damage will give them all the info, allows them to line up the arrow onto No-Tail. They're going to silence, look to take him out. The Satsa buys time for him. Comes in with Snowball to get him out to the side. They've lost the Arc Ward, and now Viking making push for more. A buyback from the bomb comes in for Toby, committing onto No-Tail. No-Tail getting low. Zeb holding the high ground for now. Still has Blink and Black on already to use. Finds an opportunity, but Shad, he's just straight in on them. Running down over the wall. Saxa given the defensive Snowball, setting himself. Toby buys back. Shad's focusing down the Spectre. Do they have the damage? Shad getting a bit out of this, stuck in the smoke screen. Shad one more. Zed comes in on the side. He's got the black ult, but two more. Catches Aramis. In fact, Toby ends up walking into it. He fought back, but this he's got to run. Topson's on the chase. The final proc for the Miona kills him off as Midbom gets the triple. OG secure the team fight, and with that, the Roshan as well by the looks of it. Topson, he's still not done. He's looking over for Celery, and Celery just in time, able to make it out with the TP back to base. OG, an incredibly solid fight there with those buybacks.
They started it perfect too. Like you said, they had that ward on the high ground. They literally killed mid one instantly before the fight even starts. But positioning of the fight, a buyback comes in, they're able to reset and go pretty nicely on the side of OG.
What sort of
Now, of course, they're having that safety as well.
Yeah.
One for sure to be the one that has the Aegis after expending that buyback to ensure that they did win that fight. So once this buyback may be on cooldown, they've got to go through mid one twice to try and get the game in a position where they can punish.
And he's got Silver Edge. He's got it done now after that too. So it's he's gonna have a tool to actually deal with the Spectre in a lot of situations. And they're gonna have two racks up now after that probably, or at least one set.
Topson for Aramis.
Radiant's middle tower
Back up. Viking GG, they are all going to be up in time to do something about the defense around this mid-racks. We'll just have to see if their defense is going to be strong enough. Now down 17k against OG. Got the moves OG wants to make as they continue to hover outside the base. 45 seconds until Black Hole's back up for Seb.
Big on the couriers coming out to him. Nothing yet. BKB is almost finished at the base. They're committing bottom.
He's in. He's going to force a BKB reaction out to the Toby.
Oh, he hit 20 on the Riki. That's why. Okay, he can just jump in and out and be a nuisance.
Get this double. They will find it, but again, these sort of jumps into the base. He's just messing with the backlines of Viking. They're going to commit for the horn. Jack jumping out to the side. Arrow won't connect Topson. He's just jumping in and playing with them all, keeping them separated, so there's no backup for Toby. Toby tries to come out to Seb. They will get the kill with the dagger connecting.
Top tower is under
So
attack.
taking Seb out, that will probably cause OG to maybe at least be a little more cautious and less relentless with this push. We'll have a smoke from Viking, seeing if they can catch anything else whilst they know that Seb's out of the game for a full minute.
That's so your typical Topson move there. Your whole team is fighting on one side, meanwhile Topson is in the enemy base just messing with them so that they can't actually go out and get any more chases and kills. Shad luckily gets out of it all.
Yeah, and this is pretty huge for Shad. He's now got the full BKB.
Okay.
So he's in a much better position to be able to carry this on it, known as Casino. All is on Shad's carry his team right now. Arrow does connect. Topson's going to jump into the backlines. Gets the silence on both Boom and Aramis. Boom standing safe at the side, but he's still taking damage from the flux. They hold close to him. Keep him safe from that DPS.
Oh, he's respawning. I think Viking might be able to go.
Topson just continues to commit. He's in onto Boom. Boom in trouble. He'll self-fuels himself to avoid the jump in, and now Shad is turning. He's going to run towards Saxon. Shad, he's found one. The arrow again. He connects on the Topson, but Topson pops the cheese. He's back to full life, but look at the damage coming up with the two of them. Topson has to jump out to the side, but Shad, he's ready to chase. The dagger in onto Topson. Topson trying to find Toby. He's up into the side with the trick of the trade, but the cold snap control is there for Boom. Topson's run down. Jump ball from Toby. They take out the Riki.
Mid was just trying to bail.
Mid-one's got to get out of here. Short's got the Aegis, but if they kill him the once, they'll get him the twice. He does not have buyback. And Viking know that. They're going to run straight down mid and force a reaction here from OG as again, Viking pulling out some fantastic plays despite being behind.
Such good positioning from them there on the high ground. Left and
Jump onto Seb.
They might even fight him.
And Boom.
I welcome.
Toby is dying for this. The midnight pulse damage is a little bit too much. Mid-one is going to turn on to Boom. And the two of them maybe just a little bit overestimating their capabilities when it comes to bringing down Seb's Enigma. With the greaves of the lotus, this man is very, very hard to kill and does a hell of a lot of damage with that pulse.
Is under attack.
After such a great hold, a great defense, unfortunately for Viking GG, they do throw away two of their cores last about them.
And now it's a full BKB on Seb. So now that timing that we were talking about where he's just the king it's here.
The
only next thing that they can do really is wait until the Spectre has Abyssal Blade, right? Like we were talking about, that also is one of the options to be able to cancel the BKB Black Hole. But yeah, this next fight is going to be so much more difficult for Viking. As Seb can really just pick and choose who he goes on there. And they do have the break mechanic too. So mid, he was able to keep the Aegis during all of it. And he can just sit back, and if Seb just decides to Black Hole Spectre, they'll definitely bring him down. So maybe Chad look to save buyback.
Yeah, I think he's got to. You've got to have the buyback launch ready to go.
Yeah.
Because yeah, absolutely, you can still win the fights with that. Say Black Hole, if it is needed to be dropped on you to kill you the once, second time round, you're gonna have pretty free reign in the fights with the BKB, other than the overgrowth.
They'll never see this.
Of course, Shad issue. BKB and Mante should always have an option to play around that. And so far, you know, in these late game fights, Shadows, he's certainly been pulling off the plays. You know, he's always going for the correct targets. 9, 3, and 10, very respectable KDA. I mean,
he actually commits his gold. He buys the full basher. He does not have buyback. So
I mean, I like a risk taker. That definitely seems like a risk. We'll see if it pays off, Shad. I mean,
hey, maybe you can farm his buyback.
Passive. Yeah, exactly. It might be passive enough until he gets the money for buff.
Yeah.
Be a risk. The big brain play from OG would be if they do see that he has that basher and figure that why not have the gold for buyback. Scan out. They are going to get information regarding No Tail and Mid-One's whereabouts. Toby's heading in. Chasing down with the dust. The dust does connect onto the turn, and Toby trying to close the gap. He's already used the fleet, but the tornado clips onto No Tail. No Tail got to be left behind, but it actually has a chance to pop the overgrowth. BKB committed by Toby as he's running on the back up there. Grease pot as well as loaded out Shad. He's onto the back with the horn. He's got the one Mid-One with the BKB set. He's got the black on control onto Shad. Can they keep him alive with the BKB already out? There wasn't enough damage. Followed up on the black hole to kill Shad off. So Shad's still alive. He takes down Mid-One. Mid-One's out for 2 minutes. No buyback. Shad. He heads over towards No Tail. Topson jumps back across the smoke screens down. They force Shad over to the side, but he's been nullified. He's trying to get out of the tricks of the trade, but he cannot do so. He's slowed down, taken out. Shad's out of the game. So is Celery's. Topson in with the cleanup. Triple kill for the Riki.
90 seconds, no Spectre. Sure, they get the Arc Warden, but you can't forget, there's always still a Topson, this Riki.
cleanups here from Topson. And as you say, that commitment for the Bastion money does mean he's 100 gold short, still 2 minutes away from bounty, so there's nothing really that they can do to get him this buyback any sooner. So it's going to be a painful minute where only Boom and Aramis are going to be up to try and defend here.
Is under attack.
And sure, even though mid one's out of the game for 70, it's not like OG's lacking push. They still have Seb with his Eidolons. Will manage to clear them out with a Meteor. But between Seb and Topson, they have enough damage to take these tier 3s by the looks of it. Maybe not the Rex, though. Everybody else other than Shab will be up in a few seconds. See what sort of a whole Viking can come in with.
Yeah, just let the Eidolons finish and back away. Toby's respawning. Toby's still a problem. The Slardar leading the charge is still a bit scary. OG gives some respect. Still seeing that mid one can die pretty easy in the fights when they full commit, but every time there's a haunt out, every time Spectre's full committing, that's where Seb just BKB black hole him. And now there's not only going to be just one BKB black hole, he's about to have Refresher finished up. So a second threat from Seb will be there inside of these fights too.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Commits.
Now, if you're Viking, I mean, are you just waiting for the high ground? Can you continue to afford to go for these moves outside of the base, so they're only going to get more difficult?
Gosh, you might have to contest the rush.
Okay.
We're gonna find out in a second how long it is to spawn. It's about 1 minute and 15 seconds. Okay, so it's gonna be tough, but they may have to make the move to look to fight around there. They still have at least 2 wards on the map, which I think is pretty nice for them. So they still have some information going.
Dire's courier has been killed.
Oh, Seb courier in mid. He's just fed. He just was waiting inside the mid creep wave. So okay, so no refresher. You know, he's not gonna be able to bring it out for 3.5 minutes. Doesn't look like he's really committing his gold anyway. Illusionist cape for mid one. Look at that. Doesn't want it though.
Oh, I guess the quiver 2 value. Surround the pit. It's going to be very, very shortly an OG in prime position to take this. It's a question of, yeah.
How do they? The thing is, like, the lanes are always pushed in, right? Bottom's pushing in, top's pushing in. They have an Arc Ward and Tempest double pushing, so it's so hard for them to contest without OG just knowing it. We see Seb, he TP's back, he buys the Refresher or Recipe, so he will have it. He will be able to buy it from the side shop if he gets the one. But yeah, it's so tough for Viking to actually just get out of their base. Level 25 Enigma takes the Eidolon talents too, so it's everything about just pushing and forcing those waves in.
Is she going to smoke here, OG? Get in position because they know that Viking's going to start heading over.
They've got
Viking with their own smoke.
OG sees the smoke.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Shag commits to the Abyssal.
On the side, Topson, yeah, he's playing around with Shad. Shad's been held aside by the smoke screen. Arrow comes in, Toby dealing with the BKB, trying for Saxa, but Saxa's so tanky with that living armor buff. He cannot do anything about the Tusky now to back away. That's the BKB down from Toby. Over to the side, Boom in trouble. He's chasing with the don't tell me the overall intercept. Jumping over to the black hole, finds Boom and finds Aramis. Immediate buyback for Boom. They need it. As Celery goes down, Toby falls as well. Multiple buybacks coming out from Viking. Shad, he's coming in with the BKB having the horn, trying to find when he's staying on top of the arc corner. Can they get mid one away? Shad turns over the wall to tell Nota. Still alive, finally falls, but Shad, he's trying his best to bring them all down, but he cannot do so. He falls. Tornado comes out. Is it enough damage to clip Saxa? It isn't. Saxa will stay alive. He just didn't have enough there, Viking, to take the fight against OG. Even with the 3 buybacks, they couldn't turn it around. OG able to retreat back over towards the pit, and they'll be able to take this Roche down without any further interference from Viking.
Radiant's middle barracks are under
Meanwhile,
attack.
Top's still looking for a fight down bottom. He's level 25. He's in. He's on Boom.
To Boom. There's no save for Boom. Dead for over 100 seconds. OG cleaning up Roche and cleaning up the base. In fact, they're just gonna leave Roche. They know that these are heroes out without buybacks available. It's time to close it up.
Radiant's middle barracks.
He committed for full of insults, and yeah, they call it.
OG, ladies and gentlemen, taking game 1 of this best of 3.
Radiant's middle
and Viking, in regards to the play, they certainly gave it their best shot. You know,